Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Another short track, and the elimination of 16 down to 12. Here tonight from the virtual Richmond Raceway, we're going to see over 12 drivers square off. But playoffs and the implications are ready. Here tonight on V-Speed, it's the original Rebels Sunday Night Truck Series, presented by Golden, Suzuki, Honda, Kawasaki, Yamaha, and KTM. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. Logan Threlkeld was normally here for our co-commentary, but off tonight. And hope you had a happy new year and a happy holiday as we come back from our hiatus of about 3 weeks there that we've been off. We'll take a look at the points. It's eliminated down. There's your 12 drivers at Richmond and Kansas, and then we'll eliminate it down at Bristol to Las Vegas to find and crown our champion. It's been an eventful season thus far as these drivers get set to grid. A look at the schedule, of course, there we just talked about. There's their round of 12 at these two venues. 130 laps here today on the race analysis. 4 tire sets available, 35-mile-per-hour pit road speed limit, and as always, the iRacing fixed setup with 60% of fuel. A look at Richmond Raceway, a little less than a mile, track similar to Iowa, 14 degrees of banking, and turn 2 exit wall will sneak up on you on this D-shaped oval. Opened just after World War II, October 12th, 1946. So this track has got a lot of heritage, a lot of history, located just outside the Appalachians in Virginia and near the capital city. So let's take you trackside now. Get that grid up on your screen. Starting on the pole tonight with the JK, the Kinder Farm and Ranch Pole Award. It's going to go to this guy right here, Eric Tracy, in the number 67. Remember, quite a ways back there, Tracy was leading to some laps there. At the last short track, we were in Irwindale, and Tracy was able to best some of these other drivers like Bates, who had led a lot of laps. Dylan Bates had led the most laps in that event, but wasn't able to seal the deal. Starting at his outside with a 21.398, it's going to be Garrett Kinder in the number 13. Then row number 2 goes to Corey Bigley, Dylan Bates in the 4th position. Row number 3, Cody Bain and Josh Oswald. Then Elliott Carlson, Brandon Wallace, making it into that final round of 12 for the 99. Rounding out your top 10 is Kieran Church and Mark Cofield, making a reappearance here in the 10th spot. Stephon Davis and Christopher Hinner will be 11th and 12th, and only 13 trucks here today. That's going to round out with Mike Veith in the number 9. So drivers getting set. Short track racing at its finest. Richmond Raceway produces a lot of passing on the inside of 1 and 2 and on the outside of 3 and 4. It's easy to get a run up near that outside wall as this race will progress. So we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. But I would venture to say most likely we're going to see drivers migrate towards that high line after about 40 or 50 laps in this race. Pace truck about to get out of the way. Eric Tracy will be the command truck into turn 1. The Go Bowling 67. Green flag is out in the round of 12 at Richmond. Was Corey Bigley that got a little loose there, lost 2 spots coming out of turn 4. Falls to the inside of the 78 of Cody Babe. 67 of Eric Tracy, your pole sitter, is falling back to 3rd. Garrett Kinder takes over the point as they go down the backstretch. Going to be a lap lead here for this guy, and he's going to lead his second one. Dylan Bates, though. Bates is proven with multiple wins this season. I believe the last mark was 5 on the year in that regular season before the playoffs. Was leading coming into the playoffs. Missed the first playoff race. Came back in Irwindale. Got a decent finish, but not able to win that race. Would love to come here and lock it up for the round of 4, and just to break it down for you how long these drivers have been going at this. This season has started back in August. It's actually October the 6th, so I take that back, but it's been a long one here. October 6th at Daytona, all the way down to Rockingham to end that regular season. And the variety of racetracks, Iowa, Michigan, Charlotte, you've got 4 different venues, 4 different styles of racing, all within the first 4 weeks, and that carries over here to the playoff format. We've actually had 2 short tracks in a row, but Irwindale much shorter than this place. This place can set up some speed. These trucks going at well over 140 miles per hour into the entry of turn 1. And then down this back straightaway, 140 just before they hit turn 3. You can see the momentum building up here. Corey Bigley on the rebound after losing those spots. Works his way back to 3rd where he started. But here comes Dylan Bates, a peek to the inside on the entry of 1. Not quite there. He'll stay back in line down the backstretch. Right on board here with Dylan Bates. Looking back with your pole sitter, Eric Tracy has fallen back to 5th. Not out of the top 5 just yet, but has lost 4 spots. Not sure maybe if this is tire conservation or not. This could be all part of the strategy here as we see a pass for possibly 2nd there. Dive to the inside of Dylan Bates. The top three within 0.2 of each other down the backstretch. Corey Bigley. Seems like he's getting a little bit better drive into these corners. You'll see him pull right up to Dylan Bates here. The difficult part is early in this run, you just got to hang with a guy. You got to kind of follow in his tire tracks, and that could burn up the right front. It's not much downforce in these corners, but the heat that's generated on this racetrack, as we look at the weather, 73 degrees temperature, you're going to see that continue to come up. It might get close to 80 here before it's all said and done. And that's because these drivers are going to continuously work this same line for 50 to 60 laps before they migrate up there to the top, before it really breaks in. And with iRacing's updates for the different track states and tire models and all the things that they've been doing kind of behind the scenes, drivers are still in the learning phase. Since Christmas break coming back, I know a lot of people I've talked to have said that some things are better, some things are worse. But all in all, it's still a learning curve, and every one of these drivers is on a level playing field, at least for the next 6 or 7 weeks. The development of the lead battle, Dylan Bates right on the back bumper of Garrett Kinder as they exited turn 2. He's going to get another big run here out of 4. He'll peek to the outside. The big Frig 13 moves up to kind of shut that door and play a little defense, but it's been hanging well at just under a 10th there for that entire lap. Bates will back off, try to get an entry into 3. The door is open this time. Kinder knows for these first 30 or 40 laps, it's going to be very difficult to pass on the inside, so he's leaving that bottom open. Dylan Bates will not be able to power off the corner without getting into him. This truck definitely wants to slide up a couple grooves when you get to the throttle too soon. Kinder's going to continue to play defense, but right on the left rear quarter of the 13 that time by. Not able to do anything with it. Oh, he washed up a little bit too much here into 4. That's going to open it up big time here for Bates. He'll have the advantage on the entry of 1. Possibly a slider here up in front. No, he will not complete that. The 13 of Kinder holds on for another lap. They're going to continue to battle for that first position. Closest battle on the racetrack overall right now. And Corey Bigley is slowly working his way back into this. Got a couple drivers that are on the move, though. Stephon Davis has moved up to the 8th position. And the number 60 Miller Lite Ford F-150 on the move here from 11th spot. Slowly catching up to Kieran Church. And the number 22 is also up 2 positions. The side-by-side back where they started it a moment ago. Dylan Bates back to the bottom in 3 and 4. Opens up the door for Corey Bigley to maybe follow suit this time by. Kinder leads another lap by 2/100ths of a second. And they continue into 1 and 2. This is not the ideal situation. If you're Kinder right now, you probably want to run your line. Truck's getting tighter. That outside wall going to creep up on him. He'll back it up a little bit here into 3 and 4. And he'll fall in line into 2nd spot. Lead change. Crossover move into 1. Maybe not a crossover. I think Kinder just got a little loose out of 4. Now go down for about 20 laps led. 21 now for Garrett Kinder. Started on the front row, has the pace. Does he have the long run speed, that longevity that you need here to discipline yourself? Yeah, you got past, but go back to hitting your marks, maintain, mitigate the damage. That's what short track racing is. It's very easy to get trapped there on that outside and lose 4 or 5 spots. But you can't let that get in your head, and you can see the 13 driving a little bit harder. One heck of a run off of turn 4. He'll take it back to Dylan Bates on the inside of 1 and 2. Looks like he has the run, but not able to hold on to it. Now opens up the door for the 28. Almost shut it. Bigley thought he was going to get the run into 3. He'll continue to peek into 1 and a dive to the bottom. Lots of trail break and maybe a door touch. That was close. They're going to hold on to it again into 3. More trail breaking, almost touches the apron to keep it down on the bottom. A little pinch there from Kinder to keep Bigley out of the picture, but here comes Cody Babe. And the number 78, started in 5th, has been quietly biding his time, saving his tires, hasn't been racing side by side at all. And he has reeled the top 3 in. Now it's 4 trucks under a blanket. Back again side by side. At second position, still very much up for grabs. Kinder defending it well on the outside that time around. Going to get another run here on Bates. They can't go anywhere with it. Bates keeps shutting that door and opening up another one for the 28. Top 4, still right on top. So look a little further back. Kieran Church is caught up to Josh Oswald in the 6th spot. Less than a tenth separate the 17 and the 22 into 1. And we have 2 separate groups of 4 here. A little loose off the corner for Oswald. 22 cuts him a break there. Could easily taken that to the outside. Still very early, but 30 laps in. I think you're going to see some drivers start playing with that second line now. Kieran Church to the inside for the 6th spot here. They get the races side by side. You possibly could see Stephon Davis and Elliott Carlson work their way into this battle. Oswald able to keep him at bay. Doesn't get loose off of 2 this time by. Pass just behind him. Elliott Carlson looks to the inside in 3. The 09 gets the door shut from the Miller Time 60. A lot of defense on the outside as we've seen so far. Dylan Bates, though, is starting to stretch this lead out. Turning on the afterburners. About half a second to Kinder now as the battle for second has subsided. And the 91 pulls away. Cody Bame, who's on pace with the lead car. He's a little bit faster than the 2 in front of him, but like we said before, very difficult. The defense on the outside has made it rather hard for these drivers to pass. They almost have to make a mistake. You see a little wiggle there from the 28. That's what it probably will take for the 78 to get by. Bame has definitely got the pace to catch up to Dylan Bates if he can get around these 2 trucks. Speaking of catching up, your pole sitter, he's back in the mix for the top 3. And at 60% fuel, most likely going to split this race into thirds. That's what we saw at Irwindale, but a lot of cautions there last week. But a lot of these drivers off the strategy. Speaking of that, it was Dylan Bates that had got off on that strategy and lost a lot of ground. Some drivers taking 2 tires, some drivers staying out, put him in a situation where he wasn't able to recover. And sometimes it be like that. Bates still holding on, though. Half a second. Going to maintain this gap on lap 37. Coming by for lap 38. Would project these drivers to come down pit road somewhere around lap 50 or so. Probably lap 55 to play it safe. See back here, Bigley holding up Cody Bain big time into the backstretch. They've lost almost a full second to Kinder. Bain knows he needs to get around this 28 truck, and he touches him in the entry of 1. He slides him up the racetrack. He did what he needed to do. A little bump and run, and he'll move on. Here's the entry into 1, and just a little touch there. Bigley gets passed by Eric Tracy, but there wasn't much room here for Cody Bain to be on that bottom. Might chalk that up to the 28 coming down on there on the 78. Trying to pinch him into the entry of the corner and defend that spot. Unfortunately, the 78 had had enough. It moves him up out of the way. Tracy gets by into the top 4 now for the 67. Let's see if Cody Bain can catch up to this top 2 before we hit green flag pit stops. Church back at it again as well. Look to the inside of Oswald again. Elliott Carlson also playing some offense on lap 43. Down the back stretch. Spawn Davis on the outside. And here comes another driver in your list of 12. Brandon Wallace in the 99. Watching 2 battles in front of him. Josh Oswald, Kinder Church, Stephon Davis, Elliott Carlson. Back and forth. Brandon Wallace just looking for a window of opportunity here. He's a little bit faster than the 2 trucks in front of him. That time by, they held him up, put him in a 22.8. A lap before that, he ran a 22.6. He got up about 3/10. Back in with his top 3. Garrett Kinder on an island, a second behind your leader, Dylan Bates. Cody Bain has shaved down a little bit of that time to the 13. Last time by, a couple hundredths faster. It's going to take more than that if he wants to catch up to the 13 before lap 55. You know Cody Bain, really good on pit road. Dylan Bates as well. There's a few names that come to mind that make up a lot of ground. Elliott Carlson trying it again here. He had it on the exit of 2 and then lost to Brandon Wallace coming down pit road on lap 48. Might be a little bit too early there for the 99 to make it to the end of this race. I would stretch this run out as far as I could just to have the tire advantage later in the run. Brandon Wallace, the only truck that came down pit road within the last couple laps. Lap 50 goes by. There's Mike Veith in the number 9, running in the 12th position currently. Last truck on the lead lap. He is about 4 seconds back from Mark Cofield in the 11th position. It's a quiet night here for Cofield. 2.5 seconds back from Christopher Hinner. And the number 24, he's on an island by himself. 3.4 seconds back from this field. Stefan Davis, who was side by side there a moment ago. Elliot Carlson finally able to complete that pass. He gets clear of the 60 and pulls away almost a full second. Kieran Church back on the inside of the 17 of Oswald. He's been working on this for about 20 laps and has still not been able to complete it. Looks to the inside again, side by side around this place repeatedly. Can get you frustrated. Cody Babe has brought it down pit road. So has Mark Cofield. So Cody Babe on lap 53 will bring it in. Dylan Bates continues to stay out. Garrett Kinder, 55 laps. This is the window I was talking about. This is where I would bring it in. Comes the 13. Garrett Kinder from the second position for his first round of green flag stops. And Bates going to stay on an additional lap. Eric Tracy out there as well, your pole sitter. Still have 4 or 5 trucks up here. Kieran Church might want to consider coming down pit road, try to pass the 17 with a pit stop, because he has not been able to do it on the racetrack. Down pit road could be the window. Just going to hope that the 17 doesn't come down the same pit road with you. We'll look to see here the entry of 3 and 4. Surprise, it's been about 6 laps here. And Cody Babe has been able to make up ground really loose off the exit there for the 17. He'll dive it down to the inside. 22 opens up the door to let fresher tires go by. There comes Josh Oswald down for green flag stops. Eric Tracy in as well in the 67. And I think if I'm Dylan Bates, I would come down within the next lap. Corey Bigley, 4.5, almost 5 seconds back. He can kind of dictate the tempo of this race at this point. Pressure tires with Stefan Davis to the outside. He'll get his lap back. And here comes the 91 now. Oh, hits a bump there on the apron of the racetrack and almost upset the truck. Back on our Salty South instant replay here. You can see that dip right there in the racetrack that's been known to set trucks sideways. Watch here from TV1. That really upset the truck there. He's lucky he didn't lose control of it. Down and away now. Elliot Carlson continues to stay out. Mike Veith as well. 09's going to lead a lap. Will he peel it down pit road this time by? He will not. He will continue on for lap 63. Zero cautions, 2 lead changes. Weather has not changed much here. 74 degrees on the track temperature. It's came up 1 degree since we started this event. Now the 09 will bring it down. Mike Veith as well in the number 9. That will bring Cody Babe to the point with Garrett Kinder, Dylan Bates. Dylan Bates is about 4 seconds back once Cody Bame takes the lead. That'll complete our cycle of green flag pit stops just at the halfway mark in this race. Don't go anywhere, though. We still have plenty of racing left to be done here at the Richmond Raceway. You're watching the Sunday Night Truck Series presented by Original Rebels Racing. More coverage will continue on V-Speed right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here live at Richmond Raceway, Cody Bame has taken over the point. Dylan Bates, who pitted about 7 to 10 laps later than most of this field, is slowly reeling his way back in. He's down to about 0.3 of a second on the 78. Dylan Bates on offense, full offense here as they come out of turn 4. So far, Bates has led the most laps. We've seen about 3 lead changes here tonight. Back and forth, side-by-side action has been good. Here's the pass for the lead now. To the inside for the 91. Kinder in third. We talked about how Cody Bame had the pace there earlier, but he short pit on lap 53 versus Dylan Bates coming down around lap 62 or 61. That's just what fresher tires looks like there. almost a 10-lap division between these two trucks. Bates really doesn't have to try very hard to drive away. He'll have the advantage and the freshest tires in this top three. Now it's a question of outwitting that driver. How can you beat Dylan Bates on strategy? No one's beating him on raw pace. He's proven that he can pull away, had almost a full second lead before we started our cycle of green flag pit stops. Corey Bigley falls back to 7th. We talk about a driver that's having a tough time right now. He has much fresher tires than these drivers in front of him, but he's not able to complete these passes down on the inside. Right now, as it sits, the hard luck award is going to go to the 28 of Corey Bigley. He gets loose out of turn 2, loses all that ground. Down 4 spots right now. I mean, this is not the typical hard luck award that you would talk about, but ever since he was moved out of the way by Cody Bame, he has not been able to recover. He's lost positions, wasn't good on that cycle of pit stops, and finds himself outside the top 5 with top 5 speed. I mean, we know this truck's plenty fast enough, but he's lost a lot of ground ever since then. So Corey Bigley has a lot of ground to make up right now. He's the Rice Farms Hard Luck Award. Kieran Church could also be in that same boat. He was up here competing for the top 5 at one point in this race. Is back to 8th now. A little bit fresher tires, and Brandon Wallace should be able to get by for the 7th position. You see Josh Oswald, he's been tough to pass all race long. Kieran Church went side by side with him, was not able to complete that pass on the pit cycle. That's where it would have been a lot easier if he could come down pit road and get around the 17 without having to race to his inside. He did it for about 20 laps or so. Now he's stuck behind him again. And they have about the same tires. 24 laps on the stint for the 17 of Oswald. Here to Church, 23 laps as they'll come by for lap 84. Dylan Bates down the front stretch into turn 1, 1.4 seconds ahead of Cody Bame. Mark Cofield goes a lap down here. He'll move out of the way here for these leaders in just a moment. He'll drop down to the inside. And this would bring him to the end of this race. This is right at that window of 55 laps. Actually be 45, but who's counting? That's what the top left of your screen is for, to help pay attention to that. That's never a strong suit here on V-Speed. You can only imagine trying to do it on the fly behind the wheel of one of these trucks, worrying about someone to your inside, your outside, what strategies these guys are pulling, and then trying to figure out what you're going to do personally. It's always a headache. Garrett Kinder catches up to Cody Bame. Bame with that short pit, probably regretting it now, as all that ground that he made up to lead those laps has faded away. That 10-lap difference on tires, he's watched Dylan Bates pull out to a full 2 seconds, and he has Garrett Kinder competing for the 2nd spot coming out of turn 2. Into the wall for Cody Bame out of turn 2, and that's going to allow the 13 to dive bomb into 3 and take over that spot. Bame defended it as long as he could. Kinder probably feels like he held him up there for about 5 laps. But that send on the inside was well timed. Kinder had the run as the 78 got tight on turn 2 exit. He'll get loose this time. Doesn't seem like a lot of air was hitting that back spoiler off the exit of turn 2. He'll settle down here about 2.5 seconds back from your leader, Dylan Bates. 40 laps to go when they cross the stripe. There's the difference in gap down that back straightaway. Dominant performance to lock himself into that round of 4. Bring those points back up on your screen here. It's a round of 8. We were in the round of 12 beforehand. I apologize for getting that wrong. We're in the round of 12 there for Auto Club in Irwindale. It's a round of 8 now at Richmond in Kansas. You see Tracy up on that list, currently running in the 3rd position. Cody Bame, who has just fallen back to 8th. It looks like problems here. No, coming down pit road. We're going to start our 2nd round of green flag pit stops. And if I'm Bates right now, I'm going to push this all the way to lap 100. You have no reason to come down early and short pit these drivers and put yourself on the same strategy. I like what Bame did here. He might make up a little bit of ground, but if I'm Bates, I'm going to push it 7 more laps here, because you know you can easily catch up to him in 30 laps. It's just been raw pace for the 91 all day. So he looks to put another driver a lap down. That's 9th place, Christopher Hinner. Started in 12th, has gained 3. Eric Kinder comes down pit road as well. But a lap down now for the 24 truck. Brandon Wallace trying to get one of his 2 laps back. Remember, he came down pit road a little bit earlier than everyone on both stints. All over the back bumper of the 24 coming out of turn 2. And just a lot fresher tires on that 99 to get around the 24. Wallace looking to get one of those laps back. He will do so across that stripe. 91 of Bates lets him go by. 2 laps left, and I would predict lap 100, maybe lap 99. I've been pretty on point so far in this race with the strategy call. And it's worked out so far for this guy. He's led 62 of the 99 laps that are about to be completed. And I would say this time by, you're going to see him peel in. If not, the next time he'll go one more. And I see no reason to push it much further than this. Eric Tracy is going to come down pit road. Josh Oswald will stay out. But this is an eternity of 11 seconds. Dylan Bates has plenty of ground between him and 2nd place. Here he comes now. It's that bump again, and is still able to get it slowed up enough. "30 laps to go. Dylan Bates has plenty of time. Cody Bame working his way through this field. Got some other trucks coming in. The 17 of Oswald. 28 of Bigley also in from about the 6th, 7th position. Down and away from the 91 of Bates. Kieran Church in. Stephon Davis just behind there. Will take over the lead briefly, but has a challenge from Carlson. We'll go side by side and continue racing each other for an additional lap. How much longer do you want to push this issue? Cody Bain will take over the point. How good was he on and off pit road? Well, Dylan Bates is about 3 seconds back. I don't think this is going to be enough. We're talking about another 10-lap advantage here on tires. And this was not enough deficit for the 91. It would take almost a 10-12 second lead, I think, for Cody Bain to even have a shot at winning this race. Definitely has a shot at the top 3 with this. But he comes off of turn 2 a little bit loose. Garrett Kinder could be his best hope here to hold up the 91. We'll see how much defense the 13 wants to play here. As they're on much closer strategies now between Bates and Kinder. It's a little bit closer than last time. Toyota Tundra all over the back bumper here. To the outside for the 13. Kinder going to try to pinch down on the entry. He will not. He'll go wide. It just allows the 91 by. That's not what Cody Bain wanted. He still hasn't led any laps either. Elliott Carlson continues to stay out here, probably hoping for a caution that may never come. We've been caution-free for 106 laps at Richmond, Virginia. What a race it's been thus far. Clean and green with 6 lead changes. Cody Bain 7 seconds back, only has a second and a half separating him and Dylan Bates in the 91. Carlson stays out longer as the 28 to the inside. Bosch is way up the racetrack here, letting these fresh tires go by. These drivers getting their laps back. Seven, about to be 8 trucks on the lead lap. Now 9 with Kieran Church in the 22 going by the 09. Cody Bain better put down the best drive of his life here. Lock that inside line. Not able to block it down the front stretch, though. Very courteous there from the 78. He had the opportunity to cut the nose of this Dylan Bates and keep him at bay. He'll play defense on the outside, but I think he's just delaying the inevitable with a 10-lap difference on tires. The 91 just able to get back to the throttle so much sooner. And Dylan Bates gets by. 1 truck between him and the lead. 3.5 seconds ahead. It's Elliott Carlson, who will inevitably have to come down pit road. He's going to stretch this fuel run as far as he can. But we're approaching lap 50 on this stint for the 09. One battle has been a constant all race long is the 17 and the 22. They have been going at it since lap 40. Kuna Church has just not been able to pass on the inside all race long, and that's why he's suffered back here to the 9th position. Corey Bigley, the top 5 speed, has stayed in 7th position. We have a truck sideways somewhere on this racetrack. I believe that was Christopher Hinner, who had just lost control there. We're going to go back on this instant replay right quick. But it looks like problems here for the 24, and he's going to park it at the bottom of the racetrack and exit tow back to pit road. He's done for the night. $55 was the max that we saw earlier. This cycle is not going to work out well for the 09. He's lost a ton of ground and won't have much time to make up for it. The VMS 09 will have to get back on the lead lap. He might be able to accomplish that, but I don't foresee him having any chance at passing for position. As he'll pull it down pit road this time by. No, he will not. He will stay to the inside of Dylan Bates, but for Elliott Carlson, this has not been a good strategy. Probably could have ended up with a top 5 finish. He just pulled it down pit road a little bit sooner. Only 10 laps to go. I don't think he's going to be able to stretch this to the end. Been wrong before, but I just don't think you can make this a one-stop race. Let's ride on board with the 09 and see if he's clutching into the corners. He is not. So he's going to be a couple laps short on fuel here. Best scenario is he comes in and just tops off of fuel to try not to go an entire lap down, but I don't know that that's going to happen because Dylan Bates is continuing to pull away. 122 complete. Coming up on lap 130 for the white flag. Dylan Bates has been the dominant truck all day long. 68 laps led. Over half of this event has went to the 91 truck. 7 lead changes. And a caution-free day at Richmond Raceway. Cody Bame catching up to the 09. Looks like a top 3 day for him. There's Garrett Kinder, Eric Tracy, your pole sitter. Top 5 for him. This race runs out. Corey Bigley is 7 seconds back, has recovered nicely. But since we're at the tail end of this event, it's time to pick a Veith Paint Award for the best appearing paint on the racetrack. And I kind of like this Rusty Wallace throwback scheme on the number 60 of Stephon Davis. Well, if Elliott Carlson can make it, if he can make it, 5 laps to go, 4 now. Be the No Next Fast Repair hard charger of the race, up 5 spots. Just has to make it 3.5 more times around this racetrack to get it done. 3 laps to go as Cody Bame caught up to him. And Garrett Kinder. Garrett Kinder might be able to snag 2 spots out of this. 2 laps to go, hard drive off of 2. Dylan Bates in his own time zone. But how about this for Elliott Carlson? Commitment to this one-stop event. 65 laps on this stint this time. 2 more times around with the 09. Will he run out of fuel? Cody Boehm has Kinder on the back end. Closest battle here is for the second spot. White flag in the air. Dylan Bates 1 more time around at Richmond. Carlson in the background here. But Dylan Bates in a dominant day is going to lock himself in to the round of 4. Dylan Bates, your winner here tonight at Richmond. Elliott Carlson, how about that? He's able to finish this race out. And Cody Boehm just able to hold on just enough there. How about that for Carlson, making it a one-stop race? Well, stick around for your Flexible Freight Solutions post-race show here on V-Speed. Dylan Bates gets the victory here today and burns it down on the front stretch. Post-race coverage, interviews with your top 3 right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back live from Richmond Raceway, post-race coverage presented by Flexible Freight Solutions. Dylan Bates, in a dominant performance, is going to win this event, lock himself into the round of 4. He led well over 70 laps here today. Elliott Carlson on the one-stop strategy started in 7th and gets a top 3. Cody Boehm is going to round out that top 3. We'll have post-race interviews with those drivers in just a moment. Garrett Kinder, Eric Tracy round out the top 5. Corey Bigley in the 6th position, recovered decently enough. Josh Oswald will finish in 7th. Kieran Church never able to get around him. Will finish in 8th. Brandon Wallace comes home in 9th position with Stephon Davis rounding out your top 10. And you have Mark Cofield 1 lap down in 11th position. Mike Veith in 12th. Christopher Hinner, an early exit to the day, parks it on the entry at turn 1 and takes it behind the wall 15 laps down. With that, we're going to take you trackside here, pull up your top 3, get a quick word with them. First, we're going to bring up Cody Bame. Cody, last lap, Bame in the number 78. He comes home in the 3rd position here today. But Cody, I tell you what, the strategy, it was all over the place. This was a weird split because some drivers could actually make it in one stop. I'm really impressed with what Elliott Carlson did, but you were able to get by some of these drivers that had held you up in the first portion of this race. And honestly, the strategy worked out for you on that aspect.
Yeah, definitely. The strategies were, just pretty nuts, but I don't know. It kind of evened out because I think I was 4th going when I came for that first pit stop and finished 3rd. So, but take the points and hopefully keep momentum going through the round.
Well, the 78 truck looked fast. You had the pace there in that first portion of the run. Looked like around lap 30 you were matching speeds with Dylan Bates. But as I said before, how frustrating is it here at Richmond that you can't get around somebody? We watched it time and time again.
It's definitely frustrating, but it's just product of the beast. I think if the setup had a little bit more gear in it, it made the trucks a little bit harder to drive off the corner. I feel like you could have made more passing, but it is what it is. And thought the racing was good. I mean, 130 laps with no caution. It's pretty damn good. I'll take it.
Absolutely is. We finished it up within the hour there. You guys went green on at 9:10. It's 10:05. So 50-minute race is always a good one. Clean and green. You bring it home in 3rd. Is there anybody that you'd like to thank for tonight's top 3?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you for doing the broadcast and the whole channel that does everything. And I'd like to thank the whole league for just being a good group of guys to race with. And shout out to Josh Oswald for painting my trucks and cars and everything on here. So, but yeah, that's it.
Appreciate your time, Cody Bame. 3rd place here tonight. We'll be looking forward to next week at Kansas.
Thanks.
Moving on up, it's your 2nd place finisher, Elliott Carlson, a driver that we mentioned a few times. You had some battles there with Stephon Davis and Josh Oswald. You were kind of running outside that top 5, but that strategy caught everyone off guard. It caught me off guard. I didn't think you could make it to the end of this race.
Yeah, my teammates were saying we couldn't do it on one stop, and I figured I'd run long on the first one. Just figured there'd be a caution or a wreck or something. And then after no wrecks or cautions, and I pitted, I was like, I think I can save a couple laps here and make it. And I did. And I tried pushing a little bit once Bates started closing on me. But then I realized, cut my losses and try to maintain for 2nd. If I would have pushed any harder, I wouldn't have been able to save to the end. I ran out like 2 truck lengths from the finish line.
Yeah, it looked like there at any point where you started to push the truck too, it got really tight off of turn 2. And a lot of drivers made that mistake here tonight where Corey Bigley's one of those drivers that comes to mind where just pushing the truck a little too hard too early could set you up to lose a lot more ground than you gained. But you come out of this race with excellent strategy for 1, but for 2, you put yourself up here in a situation where you're proving to these guys that you deserve to be in this championship.
Last season I won it, and through a combination of some of the tracks I'm pretty fast at and confident at, and then there's some where I know I need to do something a little different. This is probably a average track for me. I won't say I'm excellent here, so that's kind of why I figured I'd do a little bit of strategy on it. But also, I know saving tires here is important and keeping all 4 fenders on it.
Well, you come in here with a good chance to go into Kansas and relax a little bit, that final round of 4. But congratulations on the strategy call. Gutsy move there at Richmond. Anybody want to shout out?
I'd like to shout out to my teammates at Velocity Motorsports. And then thank you, Bradley, for the broadcast. And then Golden Suzuki Honda, Kinder Farm and Ranch, No Neck Fast Repair, Salty South Weather, Flexible Freight Solutions, B30 Printing, and then my fiance, while she's being productive in the background while she's letting me be on here with iRacing.
You should lead with that one next time.
I can do, Bradley.
All right, man. We appreciate your time. Elliot Carlson, second place here at Richmond. We'll see you next week at Kansas.
Thanks, Bradley. See you.
And finally, that brings us to Victory Lane, where Dylan Bates has dominated the day. The 91 truck seemed untouchable on raw pace. Sounds like you're getting messages from the sponsors congratulating you on this one.
Yeah, it was a good race, man. That was a fun one. Fun playing offense and being on fresh tires all night.
Yeah, the advantage that you had, even on raw pace, you pulled out to over a second and a half there in the first stint, and you kind of dictated the tempo of this race. We know at Irwindale you had a fast truck, but cautions plagued that race and put you behind the 8 ball on strategy. It's a lot easier when they stay green and you can just run your own race.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to be in the position where I could play offense all night, and that's kind of how I ended up at Irwindale. I kind of put myself playing defense, and I don't know. It just seems like it's a lot easier to attack than it is to try to keep them behind you. So try to just run the tires a little longer and have rubber later in the runs, and yeah, it worked out.
Well, and I finally got to ask, we had that hiatus there for the holidays, and I know that a lot of guys didn't really turn it off. I still had people doing productions the week of Christmas. So for you, were you still practicing? Were you still putting the time in during that break?
I think I ran one league race in super late models. I didn't touch the truck the whole time, and yeah, I really have not raced much throughout the holidays. So that was kind of off the couch. I think a lot of us were kind of the same way. So yeah, it was fun to get back into it, and hopefully we can finish the season out on a strong note.
Knocking the rust off here tonight at Richmond. Dylan Bates comes out, leads 76 laps from the 4th position to first, and never looked back. Dylan Bates, anybody you want to shout out?
Yeah, just all the guys at VMS Motorsports and T. Rice and Bubba and everybody who puts on this series. They do a great job, and looking forward to the next season and get some more trucks, and everybody should come out and run this.
Locked into the round of 4 going into Kansas. We'll see you at that race venue and locked in there for Bristol at 150 laps. Appreciate your time, Dylan.
Thank you.
Well, that's going to do it for tonight's coverage here for the Original Rebels Racing Truck Series. If you enjoyed tonight's action, make sure you hit that subscribe button on V-Speed. You'll never miss a single race. We've got plenty coming in the works. Come February, we're going to be back to that 6-7 days a week with Saturday Night Racing League and QSR in their chase for the Cup starting back up on February 1st and 5th. That's going to do it for everybody here at V-Speed. Adam Baker in the background, our other producers, Morgan Cook, Eddie Smith, Logan Threlkeld, Christian Hill, Daniel Lyon. This is Bradley Cooper telling you to have a great rest of your weekend. Try to stay safe. I know there's a big snowstorm there in the Midwest. Everybody getting hammered there in the Ohio Valley here very soon. So be safe, take care, keep the lights on, and stay tracking. We'll see you next time.